Mic'd up.
Welcome everybody to Mic'd Up PGA Professionals. This is a podcast that we talk to up and coming future PGA professionals. We talk to PGA professionals that are famous out there already at the finest clubs or have played in the PGA Championship. And we talk to those folks that have interacted with PGA Golf Professionals. So this is all about that. And we have a unique guest today. He's a young man from the Isle of Wight, England, and he's made himself all the way over here to the United States to Florida Gulf Coast University. He's in the PGM program down in Naples, Florida. And he is also a really good player. He qualified for the PGA University Championship. And, he's in the program right now to become a Class A PGA Golf Professional. And for our listeners out there, you're trying to figure out what is this? Well, the Florida Gulf Coast University PGM program is one of 16 PGA accredited programs in the United States and the only one in Florida. So we would like to welcome Joseph Green. Come on board.
Thank you for having me, John. I really appreciate the time.
Well, let's start out. Let's start out in England. Okay, so where are you from in England? I said the Isle of Wight, and and how did you get interested in the game of golf at probably an early age?
Firstly, congratulations on the pronunciation of the Isle of Wight. Some people can get it tremendously wrong, you wouldn't believe. But yeah, so I started playing golf when I was very young. I want to say 18 months to 2 years old. When I started hitting a golf ball anyway at my local driving range with my father and grandfather. And then around the age of 3 or 4, my grandfather would take me to the beach below his house. And I would make myself a nuisance to the local dog walkers at 6 a.m. by pinging golf balls all over the beach and trying not to hit anybody. But that's when everything started for me. And then everything snowballed into a junior career, I guess you could call it, until I stopped playing competitive golf when I was about 15 or 16 to focus on
You're
school.
talking about junior golf in England, is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah, junior golf in England. So I started playing for my county, which I guess is comparable to a state on a much smaller scale. I played for Hampshire. I was on the radar for the England development squad for a while, but I chose to discontinue my competitive junior career to focus on school when I was 15 or 16. And going back to make a few cameo appearances for the Hampshire squad every now and again, maybe once a year or so to, just to keep my competitive juices flowing. And then after I graduated school, I then found the love for competitive golf again. I really
Well, that's
did.
fascinating. Talking about junior golf in England compared to junior golf here. I know in your program, we'll get into this a little bit later about internships and actually getting real time working at a golf club nearby. And I know you've been interacting probably with their juniors. What is our junior golf programs like in England compared to the ones over here in the States?
Well, when I first started junior golf, I thought, oh, this is intense. This is tough. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. This is very intense. And I come out here and think, actually, maybe my stuff wasn't that intense. I know Americans like to take their junior golf and junior sports in general, high school golf, very seriously. Something I noticed, you guys have some of the best golfers in the world because they're forged in fire from a young age. Before they're 10 years old, they are playing serious golf tournaments, and they have that backing behind them. I didn't necessarily come from that at such a young age. Golf for me was always a hobby until I went on to play a little bit of competitive golf. But I know Americans take this very seriously. So do we. So do we. I know. I still know people who went through the same stuff as me who kept going, and they said it was very intense. But they didn't realize how intense it could be until they came out here when they played college golf.
Well, we're doing this podcast the day after the Masters, and Roy winning the Masters back to back. What do you think about that?
I'm very happy for him. I never want to root against Rory, but I really wanted Justin Rose to win a Masters. He's from the same county as me. We played on the same junior teams, obviously many years apart, but we did, and I really wanted him to win it. It was something that I think he deserves. I think he's one of the greatest European golfers of all time, Ryder Cup and PGA Tour wise. I think he really deserves his green jacket, and I think he keeps knocking on the door. He's still got many years left. I know he's 45 years old, but he's still got many years left in him, and I think he will have a year that everything just falls right for him.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about, okay, so now you're coming to the United States. Did you take an ocean liner like Bobby Jones used to do in the old days, or you just fly over here and land and say, "Here I am," and get in the golf business? How did that come about?
Well, I was thinking about swimming to save money, but I thought I probably wouldn't make it too far.
There you go.
But
That's right.
no, I Gatwick to Tampa to visit some family friends before I started school. And how it came about is funny you should ask. I was in Tampa in 2023. I was at a bit of a loose end for the summer, and some family friends finally convinced me to come out and see them after I think at least 3 or 4 years of convincing. I broke and I said, okay, I'll come out and see you guys because I knew they'd want to get me into university. And at that time, that wasn't my plan. Ever since I can remember, I never wanted to go to university. But I came out here and I spent some time in the Tampa Bay area in the summer of 23, played a lot of golf, met some great people, and found out about the PGM program through you. You got my family friends onto it who you also know, and they got me onto it. So we reached out to the director of the program down here and we set up an interview for July 2023. And as soon as I had the tour of that school and as soon as I had the conversation with the director of the program, I was sold on it. It didn't take much. You know, I love golf, have loved golf for all my life. Why would I not want to make a career based around my love for the game? And once it was put that way, it was a no-brainer.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't think I get most of the credit. I think you do, because it's very difficult to get admitted into that program. I know there's a waiting list. There's a lot of people from around the country, because this is absolutely the best PGM program in the country at Florida Gulf Coast University. And I've had the privilege of having some of my junior golfers go down there and graduate. And they're all head professionals, director of golf, GMs at some beautiful golf courses around the world. So credit to you to get in there. So now you're in this program. And so for our viewers out there, they probably want to know a little bit more. What is the PGM program at Florida Gulf Coast University? What is that? Because a lot of times people don't understand that you're going to college and it's an accredited university. And hey, they've had some good basketball teams in the past too. But this is something that you're going to college to become a PGA golf professional. Why don't you describe the program to us?
So it is a 4-year bachelor degree at its heart. That is what you get. You get a bachelor of science, a bachelor of business after you graduate. But more importantly than that, you do your PGA qualification. You do level one, level two, level three, all throughout school. So in conjunction with doing classes, I also do my WEAs, my PGA exams. I mean, I've just finished level one, for example. I finished that maybe a month ago. Got all portfolio submitted to the PGA. I'm waiting to hear back on that.
Hey,
So
what's a WEA?
a WEA, I'm so glad you asked. I love talking about WEAs. They are work experience activities where
Oh, okay.
you get a direction from the PGA. You also get a document with a rubric, and it is set out for what they want you to write. And so, if I make an example, I had to do 5 or 6 of them based purely on teaching, coaching. So I had to observe a lesson. I'd take videos of the lessons, take 4 videos and a photo. I would talk about everything from the environment of the lesson, how that affected the lesson, what the instructor was trying to talk to the student about, how they were trying to improve, what the student wanted to improve on, and how that worked. So it'd give me a box. I would talk about the ball
I'll tell
flight.
you what, that's a great thing for a young person becoming a PJ golf professional. When I turned pro and I was an assistant, I had no training in teaching. There I was. I was a really good player in college, and I was trying to play some competitive golf when I got out. And if I could find the first person that I gave a golf lesson to, I would give their money back if I could find them right now. So that's just fantastic that you guys have this training. So um, during learning that, uh, do you make any discoveries about like your own game when you're teaching others, and in such good training to teach?
I think you do. I also have made a pretty big discovery about my game. I thrive under not necessarily dwelling on the numbers or my swing, or I can see how I started to overanalyze my golf game about a year and a half ago when I first started really diving into numbers. And it's taken me a while to realize, but I did that for me personally, I don't need the numbers. I know, relatively speaking, I know where my golf ball goes and what I'm doing. But for some people, they need to know their numbers. It's how they work. They're so mechanical, and that's okay. There
So you're
is a
talking
lot.
about like the data you would get
Yeah,
from TrackMan. I
exactly.
understand that there's so much data points out there on people's golf swings, and it's sometimes it gets so overdone that somebody doesn't want to take golf lesson from anybody unless they have a $25,000 TrackMan
Mm.
to tell them that their club head speed is 78 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, for the majority of golfers, they don't need it. I mean, I where I'm working right now, our PGA director of instruction is an amazing director of instruction. He doesn't use a TrackMan for members.
What's his name?
Peter Norton,
And where's that at?
Island Country Club on Marco Island, down here in South Florida.
So you get to go there, and he gets to, you get to apprentice under him a little bit and learn how
I
to
do. I
teach.
mean, I'm there strictly as a. They like to call it an intern golf professional. So I'm helping
Mhm.
with tournaments. I'm in the shop sometimes. I'm out on the golf course saying hello to members. I'm being an extension of the professional staff, but sometimes I can shadow Pete and his lessons. And he isn't. Like I said, he's an amazing coach, and I can see how he works. He doesn't need TrackMan. He uses an old-fashioned technique. He just watches the golfer and tells them what he thinks they can do to improve. And I think people down here especially value that over someone who just uses TrackMan.
Well, that's true. The golf instruction has evolved from many different stages. I remember when I got involved as PJ Golf Professional, it was the gadget stage. Everybody had a swing gadget or whatever you had to do, but the key was, and I learned this just like you're learning it now. When I was working as a PJ Golf Professional on Crystal Cruises, we would go out in the back of the ship and we would hit balls into these nets, and they had a little putting green and things like that, and you do an exhibition at 10 and 2, and then you would take them to go play golf when they got into port. Wonderful experience. I met people from all over the world, but they were all older. They were
Mm,
very old, and when I say very old, they got to be careful because I'm very old too. But there were, so they had a lot of physical limitations, and they don't want to play golf 7 days a week, and they just want to hit a few balls and play a little bit better. So I had to equate the golf swing like a dance, like a golfer's dance, where they're learning a dance move. And if it helped them hit the ball just a little bit better, it was mission accomplished. But at the same time, if I needed to work with a PJ Tour player somewhere, which I have in the past, yeah, we have to have all the data points. But I
mm.
like the teaching philosophy there, and that makes a lot of sense. Hey, let's shift gears a little bit to so the progression of this program. How long does it take you? I saw on your bio that you're class of 2028, so you're getting there pretty close here as far as getting through the program. What happens? What all the things that you need to do to finish the program and graduate in 2028?
Okay, so firstly, you need all 120 credits in order to graduate with a bachelor's degree. I
And
need
that's
to have
standard in colleges
yeah,
all over the
I,
country.
I
Yeah,
believe
okay, I got
so.
it.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then going into more specifics, you need to finish your PGA portfolio level 3 at that point. You need to have your PGA done in order to turn professional and get your class A. So that involves completing everything from the player ability test to level 1 exams, level 2, WEAs, level 3, everything. You need to have that all done. And then some people choose a double major because they have the credits. I'm not sure yet. I may minor in something like club management, which is what I'm thinking. But you need to have all your credits, all your general what they call it, general something or other, all that done, all your electives done as well, your PGM electives done, and our faculty are very good at having being on you to get stuff done as soon as possible because you don't want stuff hanging over your head on your senior year when you're trying to intern and you've still got work to do. It's just not something they want you to do. They want your last internship to be really setting you up for a post graduation job.
So let's talk about the playability test for our viewers out there. To be a PJ of America member, you have to pass a playability test, and nowadays too that you can even be a junior golfer and pass that playability test.
Mm.
That used to be something that kept a lot of people back, but I think that the people entering the business have gotten to be better and better players lately. And I know that for you, it wasn't that big of a deal because you're a really good player. When I was introducing you, I saw where you played in the PGM National Championship, or the PJ University National Championship. Tell us what that is.
So the PGM University Championship is at the end of the fall semester around November time. It is generally the top 5 golfers from each of the 16 accredited universities. I don't think all 16 go, so maybe from the 14 top. It's the top 5 golfers from each 14, and Each school does qualification differently. Some schools will just do one tournament of qualification, but we use the whole full semester tournament series to decide who's going to go. Last year it was based on tournament scoring average for our major stroke plays, and the year before that it was based on player points. It's kind of like a FedEx Cup standing style of points, and that's how I qualified. Last year I didn't have a great year on the course, so I didn't qualify. But 5 great golfers went, and we had a good showing. So it just proves that our tournament series is unique in that every single round counts. And that kind of pressure does forge the best players that we can send to a tournament of this magnitude because we want to win this thing. You know, we like you say, we're one of the best programs, if not the best. We want to win it. We haven't won it in a while. It's been, I think, 8 years, I believe, maybe even longer since we've won it. So our director is really keen on the best golfers going, and that's how she believes she can get the best golfers is by holding stroke play majors over 18 holes and making sure that the best people who've played in those events consistently go to this event. And it is a great event. It's sponsored by Strixon Cleveland. We got golf balls, we got goodie bags, we got head covers, and I played at Mid Pines in North Carolina, which was an amazing golf course to play. Old Donna Ross design. I mean, I struggled sometimes with some of those shots. It being soft conditions and the greens being upside down turtle shells, and I mean, it was a great experience.
We know in the PGA of America, as you progress through your career, not only does the brand of the PGA define you in your work part of your career, but also where you're working at. And I know that through past experiences with some of the junior golfers that I know that went through the programs very successfully, they got to go different parts of the country and intern, and I mean,
Mm.
actually work, for real. And you have to do that, I guess, 2 or 3 times throughout your journey here. Now you're wearing a shirt from one of those places. What place is that?
It was a country club called Willow Bend. It was on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and it was my
Oh,
first internship, my first time ever working at a golf course, especially a private golf course, because I know I didn't grow up in that field, and it's not really a thing in the UK. So it was my first experience of working behind the lines at a private golf club, and it was fascinating. It really was eye opening.
well, I mean, that's now it probably wasn't much of a culture shock for you because there's probably a lot of, especially New England, there's probably a lot of parallels to England itself, the part of the world that you're in. Have
Yes.
you have done this anywhere else yet in your internship, or where are
Um,
you planning to go?
So right now I'm finishing up my second internship, which I started at the end of December at Island Country Club on Marco Island.
Oh, so
So
right in your very own backyard. That's great.
yes, it is. I mean, it's a great facility. It's a beautiful location. Right, Marco Island is beautiful. I mean, if I could pick anywhere to live in on this coast, I'd probably pick Marco Island. I mean, I loved going there. I've been there 5 days a week for the last 4 months, and I've loved it. I've learned a lot, and it was good good responsibility, and having accountability, which I think is so big for people my age. Having to practice being accountable for things. If I make a mistake, I get called out on it, and that's the only way I'm going to learn. I'm still relatively new to this industry compared to people who've had 30, 40, 50 years experience. I've had, combined 7 months working in this industry. I've still got so much to learn. And what's been great about this internship is I now know what I have to learn. Yes, I've learned a lot from my director of golf, but also I know now what I need to learn going forward in order to make the best out of my career.
Well, the PGA of America has a program. They used to call it one badge, uh, many roles, and I have that up on my website. And you discover in the golf business that it's not just one thing. You wear a variety of hats or badges when it comes to the
Mm,
to what you do. And I think that's, even though you only have 7 months experience, you probably now have figured out that it is the golf business, and you are a PJ golf professional going to be. But it's also the hospitality business, and it's the psychology business, and it's
mm,
the merchandise business, and it's like nobody else's business. There's so many different things that you have to learn, and the best way to do it is learn it by interning under
mm.
PGA Golf Professionals have been very successful, and these clubs are very successful. Have you picked out your? I guess you have to do three. Is that correct?
I have to do four.
Four. So
So
have you picked
it's
out where you're going for those?
yes. I've picked out my third. So I was very lucky to find out that the GM of where I'm working now is knows the GM of Bandon Dunes, which is somewhere
Oh
I've always
my
wanted to
goodness.
go and work because I want
Yeah.
some experience in the resort industry because
Well,
I
hold
want
on,
some.
everybody. Tell us about Bandon Dunes. It's very famous. You're an avid golfer and you're watching this podcast. You know what we're talking about. But there's probably going to be a lot of people that are maybe new to the game or listen to what you have to say about becoming a PJ member. But so tell us, what is Bandon Dunes and where is it and why do you want to go there?
So Bannon Dunes is in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. It is on the coast. It is absolutely beautiful. It is as close to Scottish golf as you'll get in this country. You guys may refer to places as links golf, but Bannon Dunes is as close to Scottish golf or English links golf as you can get. It is one of the premier resorts in the US. I'm not sure if it is the premier resort, but it's certainly one of them. And there is a long wait list to get a tee time. I know you have to wait a long time to get a room to get tee times, and there's I think 6 or 7 golf courses out there, from championship length golf courses to little par 3 courses, and it's somewhere for me that fits what I like perfectly. I mean, I'm from the middle of nowhere. I live in the middle of nowhere back home. I live on a cliff in a pub with not many people around me, so middle of nowhere isn't a problem for me. I work 40 hours a week maybe, and then there's nothing else to do other than play golf, which suits me just fine. I'll play golf till the sun goes down. I don't care. It won't get dark till maybe 10 o'clock out there in the middle of in the middle of June. So I'll be on the golf course until I can't see anymore, and maybe even after I can't see. I don't know.
Hey, I heard they had sheep out there.
Oh yeah, they've
That could
got.
actually have a golf course that's got some sheep.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's something I'm very much used to. So I mean, I every time I drive up my driveway to my house, I have cows, I have sheep, I have all kinds of farm animals that probably
Well, I know
shouldn't
I'm
be
talking
there.
about Bandon. Now I'm talking about Bandon
Yeah, yeah.
Dunes
I know
out there.
that's what I'm saying. I know it's going to be
Yeah.
like a taste of home for me.
Yeah, you're gonna have another role under your badge, sheep herder out there. If you're,
Yeah.
hey, get out there and get the sheep herded down number 10 fairway, will you?
I,
That's fantastic.
I
Hey,
mean, I
there's
get.
somebody I follow on Twitter called Mark the Caddy, and he actually has a Twitter feed from Bandon Dunes. He's a caddy,
Hmm.
and what he does is he'll talk about the people he caddied for and stuff like that in general ways. And he actually wrote a book. So when you get out there, you probably have to make point to be the first
Yeah.
person that you need to meet out there because he's a wonderful person. But Bandon Dunes, that's fantastic. So now that you're going to be going through all this program and you're going to be graduating, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go now? I mean, and it's unique, right? Because you graduate as a PGA Golf Professional. Is that correct? After you
Yes.
graduate, the next day or the next day before, you become a PGA Golf Professional right on the spot. You don't have to wait 3 to 5 years after you graduate from college and serving apprenticeship. That's the unique thing about this program. So the day you graduate, where would you want to be as a brand new PGA Golf Professional, and what type of PGA Golf Professional do you want to be as far as the job role that you have?
Right now, I'd like to work my way up the standard route of assistant, going to head pro, eventually director of golf, and then I like to think I will have the skill sets by then to potentially make a run at a GM somewhere. I think my experience in the hospitality industry before golf is going to help me a lot in the future. I mean, before I ever worked in the golf industry, I helped my parents' pub for years. My parents run a pub since I was a kid. I guess where I grew
Really?
up.
So
Yeah, that's where I grew up. I
what
grew up in the
invaluable
restaurant.
food and beverage background you have
Mm.
there. Tell us about your experiences with as a kid growing
Oh,
up and working at a pub for your parents.
it was a lot of fun. At times, it was a lot of fun, and at other times, people would be loud and obnoxious at 12:30 in the morning with you just trying to go to sleep. But I would work not full time, but I'd help out definitely in the pub when I was a kid during school, and meeting all kinds of people, getting used to talking to strangers because if you can't talk to people in this industry, then you're not going to get very far. That's just my experience. If you're not good with people talking about anything and everything, being able to relate to somebody, talking about anything from the weather to sports cars to I don't know anything, you've got to be able to just relate to people and have people like you. People liking you, I think, is so important from what I've seen. Coming from a golf course right now where a lot of our staff are new, we've got a brand new director of golf, we've got a relatively new retail manager, and It's interesting to see how they are endearing themselves to the membership, and they have that as a priority, because if the membership don't like you, then you're not going to get very far.
Well, that's true in any business, that's for sure. You can use the word shareholders. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. They got to like you, especially on Ladies' Day
Oh,
at a private club in South
yes.
Florida.
Yes.
If the ladies like you, and well, I'll tell you what, you're good. You're very good. So that's great. That was advice that we were talking to set this podcast up the other day, and I was, you said, "Hey, where are you coming from?" I said, and you went, "Hey, it was Ladies' Day out here at the club." I said, "Got to keep those ladies happy. Make sure they're having fun and they like you." And he goes, "That's what my boss just told me." It's universal everywhere. Well, let's get you out on this one. So, what do you do? I know it's a golf, 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 golf all the time. That the You eat, sleep, and drink the game of golf. I know that you're doing that based on what you're doing right now at the college. But what do you do differently? I mean, what's a non-golf thing that you like to do and relax just for a day and get away from the game?
Honestly, I love to play PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a completely standard answer from a 23-year-old guy,
Yeah.
but that's what I like to do. I like to go out with my friends. We like to play cards a lot. We do all kinds of college age stuff. That's what we do, and it's a great thing to just relax and see. I mean, I've forged some great friendships in this program, not just with kids in my year, but kids in the year above me. I mean, I say kids. I'm 23. These guys are maybe 21, 22, but I've forged great friendships with these guys that we can go out and just do anything and have a good time. And it's good to get away from golf. But honestly, in my downtime, I like to go and play golf at other golf courses. That's what I like to do. I like to travel. I mean, just this internship alone, I've played at Bears Club over in Jupiter with a friend. Played down in Boca with a friend who were interning out there. I've played at Bonita Bay East over here, which is a great golf course. And at the end of in a couple of weeks' time, I plan to go back over to the East Coast and play some more golf. So to answer your question, what I do to wind down from golf is play more golf.
Okay. Well, that means you like to play golf on days that end with Y. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Joseph, we appreciate you coming on Mic'd Up PJ Professionals, and I know that you got a bright future ahead of you. And for our viewers out there, thanks for listening. And you've been listening to John Rager. I'm a PJ member and Mic'd Up broadcaster, and Joseph Green, future PJ golf professional from Florida Gulf Coast University and the PGM program down there. And for that, I want to wish you the best, and we'll see you again sometime soon, and hopefully on the golf course. Joseph, take care.
Oh, thank you. You too. Have a nice day.
All righty.